everybody. Pastor Jerry here for this week's Around Town with the Pastor. Today I'm on the campus of the Old Columbian College. Many of you may remember it as a college. Many of you may remember it as the old Van Alstyne High School or Middle School, and yet others may know it as the old Van Alstyne Elementary School. Today I believe it still serves, but it serves as the North Campus of Almost Grandma Preschool. I don't know if you are getting tired of being where you are, if you're ready for change. It's been said that when the pain of staying where you are becomes greater than the pain of change, that's when we change. I know that over the last number of weeks, we've been telling you about once this pandemic comes to an end, things will be different. Things will have to change. But until that time comes and we are slowly phasing into getting back together on Sunday mornings, beginning to open our campus again in June, hopefully, as we begin to phase back in, things will be different. There will be change. Because I believe we've reached a point where we're ready to make the changes that we need to get out of where we are right now. That the pain of staying where we are has reached a point for many where we're ready to do what we need to do to get back to our new normal way of life. I remember many years ago, I was on a college ski trip. I was a student minister at the time, and I was taking a ski trip with many of our college students as well as some high school students and some junior high students. And I was skiing with a group of kids that were much better than me. And I was just good enough to be able to tag along with them. We reached one slope where they decided that it would be kind of fun to do a trick. And now, as tall as I am, they thought it would be fun to have me go first, to go down the slope, to go as fast as I could and to spread my legs as wide as I could. Then they would take turns squatting and coming in between my legs. I thought it sounded like a good idea at the time, so I took off. And I began going down the slope. I picked up speed and I spread my legs as wide as I could, still being as tall as I could. And one at a time, they would duck and they would come between my legs. Katie Talbert, Alan, and the rest, Mary, they were coming through. And then there was Bobby. Now, I don't know if Bobby stood up too early. I don't know if he never really ducked far enough, but it didn't go well, and we crashed hard. I didn't realize it at the time, but I had injured my hip to the point where over the years, I began to develop arthritis in that hip. I called it my Bobby hip. But as the years went by, the pain got worse, but I was able to tolerate it. I began to develop a limp, but as long as I could walk with just the proper limp, the pain was tolerable. But it grew over the years until finally, 10 years later, after dealing with this pain, I had a very, very obvious limp. I was in constant pain when I was on it and when I was walking. And I went to see the doctor about having him check out my hip. And he x-rayed it and he said, well, the bad news is you're going to need a hip replacement. The good news is no one's ever died from a bad hip. So you just decide whenever you are ready for the hip replacement, and you'll know when it begins to affect your lifestyle. That was in the summer. Later that fall, it was in October, actually it was on Halloween, and I found myself having to sit in the truck and wait while my two young daughters went door to door trick-or-treating. I couldn't go with them because the pain was too bad. And staying where I was, being where I was more painful than the changes I needed to make. So I made a call, made an appointment, had my hip replaced. I don't know why I waited so long, but we do that, don't we? We tend to, even though we're in pain in life, maybe it's a physical pain, Maybe it's an emotional pain. Maybe it's a spiritual pain. And as long as the pain's tolerable, we stay where we are, don't we? We wait and we wait and we suffer silently until that pain becomes so bad we need to make a change. Please know that if you are hurting, if you're suffering, if you're going through silent pain, please know that the church at First United Methodist Church of Van Alstyne is here for you. We would love to hear from you. If you want to reach out to me or to one of our Stevens ministers, send me an email. You can call Sue Brackeen. She's in charge of our Stevens minister, or if you want to reach out to me, I'll be glad to put you in touch with them. But we would be glad to visit with you and help you through this time. As we begin to get back to our new normal, as we begin to come back together, again, it's our hope that it will be June, around the 1st of June, when we begin to open the office again, as we begin to gather back together for worship, hopefully on June the 7th. There will be changes. But if you're like me, I'm ready for the change. I'm ready to do whatever we can, whatever we need to do to be back together, as long as we are safe and healthy, because that's our number one priority, is keeping you safe and well and healthy. I've enjoyed many of the daily scriptures that Priscilla has been emailing out to us. That's been inspiring. I hope that you've enjoyed them as well. I want to share with you a couple of other scriptures that we can hold on to maybe during our time of suffering, as we are looking for the need of change. In Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30, we read these words: "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burdens are light." And then one of my favorites from Psalm 46:10, "Be still and know that I am God." We want to remind you that God loves you. The church family at First United Methodist Church loves you, and we are here for you. If you need anything, please give us a call. Reach out to us in an email. We'll be glad to do what we can. And don't forget, today we separate from one another so we may be together again in the future.